Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Galaxy. Last time we finished up the ghost ship. This time, as promised, I am going to head back, and I actually remembered to show off this extended leaving the area cutscene. I don't really think I have to show it off, but there it is. It just takes a lot longer to do. And then you go through a portal. I'm not sure why we're going through a portal. Unless the only reason we go through a... Well, no, because here's the other portal that's going to actual Mariglin. I don't know why we go through a portal. Anyway, now that we are back on Mariglin, I am going to go over the enemy locations for Mother's Lair. So yeah, beginning, we have the midpoint, twice, for some reason, the endpoint, and the core. So I'm just going to warp here, and then we'll just start talking about where some of these enemies are going to be located if you plan on trying to capture everything because you are insane and you have a lot of free time on your hands. The battle recorder. I've hunted many of these enemies already. The Alcan. We found a lot of these guys. These guys are basically everywhere. They're more often on the paths as opposed to the dead ends, so they're distinguishing between those in this particular area. The Face of Evil, we see them more often around the beginning and midpoint teleporters. As you go toward dead ends, apparently they start to group up and you find larger groups of them as opposed to them in combination with other enemies. The bit enemies, these guys are found around the beginning of the main path and less often as you continue to go through. The magic fighters are everywhere, as we saw. The Demios, these guys are basically encountered from the endpoint teleporter and are more common the closer you get to the core. Those were the giant dudes. The dragons, these guys start at the midpoint fork teleporter and are more often into the dead ends on the right path. They are encountered in lesser numbers around that same teleporter, going toward the actual midpoint teleporter, not the midpoint fork teleporter, but on the way to the other one. Let's see, the Red Baron, we got way too many of these guys. They're everywhere. We know they're everywhere. We found way too many of them. Same with the bits, even though, yeah, like the bits are apparently more often in the beginning, but we found a whole crap load of them. The Tegoth or the Togroth are found along the dead end paths. The Platinum Kite, which we barely saw at all, these ones are in the last stretch before the core, so we just didn't find very many of them. And the last one that is available here, this guy is found around the midpoint dead end paths. The Evil Skeletor is the first enemy we encountered after getting into the ghost ship, and he's found primarily in the passage of Hull number 1. The Cosmo Turtle is found more often in, near Hull number 1 and 2. The Evil Relic, which we barely saw, these ones are encountered in Hallway 1 of Hull 1. The Sumo Bull, these guys again, Passageway 1 and Hull 2. The White Wall, these guys are in passages 3 and 4 and Halls 3 and 4. I guess I should probably head back there and show you exactly what we're referring to. A change of music while we're at it. Though we're gonna want a change of music back away from that before too long. You'll see why. Let's jump back here and see what we're talking about. The halls here. Let's teleport to the entrance. The halls are, as far as I understand it, the large open areas where we often find boss fights. So yeah, you can see, you know, Hall number 1, so that's the big open area. Hall number 2, or this is the ruined hall. This is hall number 1, hall number 2, hall number 3, hall number 4, hall number 5, and this is near the treasure trove. Anything that's not a hall will be a passageway or a hallway or whatever. So let's get back to our enemies here. We saw where the white wall was. Let's figure out where I am here. We have these guys, these spinners. These are found in passageway number 4. The Wonder Kongs are found in passageways 3 and 4 and halls 3 and 4. The Trash Phantom can be encountered in passageway 4 and hall 4. And the Hades Monk is in passageway and halls 5 and 6. King Demios, because we of course have to have even stronger jump to attack enemies. These guys can be found in the treasure trove room, in like the final room there. They're also encountered in passageway number 7, like right at the end, and that's the only place you're going to find those guys. These guys are found in halls number 1 and 2, though I did find them at the end as well, just not as often. The Orochi, these guys are in passageway 7 and the treasure trove room, so again, right at the end. The Spiral Sid, these guys are in passageway and hall number 2, and also the beginning of passageway 3. Moon, the last of the enemies in here, can be found at passageway 5 on through passageway 7. Now, all of the enemies in the ghost ship I talked about in previous ones, they don't necessarily have a drop table. Technically, they can drop anything at random for the flow, even up to galactic compasses, but I almost never get them, so I wouldn't rely on that in order to find those items, but apparently that's what they drop. They also drop healing items, of course, as we saw. Now we have a big mass from, where is it? From 171 to 200. There's one more area left to explore. Let's talk to you. Impressed with the way you tore through the ghost ship. Waiting for a lion-hearted bunch like yourselves. There's a world that only true heroes can reach. To get there, you have to answer each of my 7 questions. It's a game called 7th Mystery. It's called bullshit. Hello and welcome to Terrible Questions. This is so stupid. Most of these are super obscure. Like this one. Like, how am I going to remember the name of the person who was reporting in one scene back in chapter, what is it, 5, 6? How am I supposed to remember this? That's the other thing. If they're not super vague that you probably wouldn't have known in the first place, they're so far into the past that you probably won't remember, even if at one point you did know. I am not a big fan of these because it's more so lore than anything else. Now, I read through the answers briefly before I started this episode, so I know that this one happens to be Lucy Dine. And Jaster defeated his first quarry, the alchemist there in Salgin, and he was worth 20,000 points, so I know that. And Erebus's ghost ship, this was said in one cutscene, so it technically shouldn't be all that long ago, though for me it's a week ago. I remember reading that it was 40. The Draxian Empire's sworn enemy of the Elongardian military. Only one of Draxel's weapons appears in this game. How anyone would know this without first reading over the answers, I don't know, but the answer is Zenon D. Jaster and Kisala met in the Rosa Desert. What were Kisala's first words? So they want you to remember the very beginning of the game. She says over here. You got through Erebus ghost ship. Which one of these didn't show up while you were in there? Well, we fought him, and we fought him, so the answer is the Sand Kraken. Jaster set off across the desert toward the Dorganarch to become a space pirate. Who was the man that lent him a Yago? Again, if I didn't just read it, I would have no idea. I was not expecting to get all 7 of those, to be honest. If you're looking for the answers, go to the walkthrough that's been listed in the description of every video in this series. And just at the opening spot there, click Table of Contents and choose Ghost Ship Extreme. That will lead you to the answers to all the 7th mystery questions. And there are, looks like about 30, maybe 40 of them. So he's going to pick them at random, and you're going to have to try and figure them out. In my test run, I think I tried 4 or 5 times, got, you know, between 4 and 6 each time, and then gave up and then just used the walkthrough to get through it because I was bored. This, though, is where I remember reading it now. And for doing them all right, you get the key to the underworld. Blah, 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 blah. I had mentioned something about this before, and I couldn't figure it out. I can't look at it from in there. Why not? Do I have to go in here in order to look at it? Okay. There is a question in the 7th mystery that reads, one of Kisala's abilities is Deadly Stench. Whenever she lobs one of Dorgan Goa's socks at the foe, if the enemy does not die, it becomes, and the answer is poisoned, but this is where I read it. I knew I read it somewhere that it was one of Dorgan Goa's socks. Again, it looks like she's dropping deuce on the sock or farting on it or something. Why would you put that animation in the game? Why? Anyway, enough of that. We got a super rare item. And by rare, I mean it's the only bloody one of its kind, if I can find it. Oh yeah, we got Captain's uniform. I should probably put that on here. We also got the Dorgan Edge. That will work on eventually as well. That starts off, and again can be updated, with a power of 370. So yeah, this is going to be our best weapon in the game. It's also level 54 requirement. We're on level 55 with this one. We'll keep working on this and do the ultimate combination there. The key to the underworld. What lies beyond the matching door? So we go and we hit this. Now, before you do this, and I'm going to do this right now, you're going to want to come in and you're going to want to save. For reference here, I'm going to open up my memory card from my test run. I ended my entire playthrough at 56.5 hours. So we're at, I think, what, about 47-ish hours? 40... Oh no, we're at 49.5 hours. So we're going to save over here. And yeah, so looks like we'll probably be somewhere in line with how long the test run took. Again, this is me doing almost everything except for the completing the item, whatever it is, or not the item, but the ranking thing, capturing every single enemy for the hunting record. The only one I'm not going to do well, I just realized that there is actually one other thing I'm not going to do, but it's, well, we'll find out at the end. Ghost Ship is for true adventurers only. Those who wish to walk among its fierce beasts must first produce a key to the underworld. You want to save before coming in here for one specific reason. Once you enter, you are now in the Ghost Ship Extreme. There is no going back. Once we go through this door, you can leave, but you don't really want to. This is a 100 floor dungeon, procedurally generated with procedurally generated chests. I'm going to be ignoring pretty much every chest in this game, or in this area, because they're randomly placed, contain nothing of value, and there's no real need to focus on it at all. Now, I asked you guys earlier on in this Let's Play what you wanted me to do with the 100 floor dungeon. And I've decided that for the most part, I'm going to be doing it basically on fast forward. Now, as we go through this area, we are going to find a bunch of information quite useful. But because I don't want to drag it along forever, I'm just going to talk about it kind of briefly now, and then we'll move on. So each of the floors is randomly generated, and you'll notice that we just came through here and it's now blocked off. You can only go forward, you can never go back. There are teleporters on every floor. You can save at them, you can heal at them. If you leave this area, you are forced to restart the entire thing. I'm going to repeat that. If you teleport out of the ultimate Ghost Ship Extreme, you are forced to start from floor 1, no matter what floor you were on previously. Do not leave. This is the reason why I stocked up on additional healing items in between, or not in between episodes, but when I actually showed it off earlier on in the game. Once you start in here, you're not gonna leave. I probably should have bought more things because I didn't actually double check and stock up things. So like I probably should have bought more of these and whatever, don't care. We're just going to jump through it. And with that being said, there are 4 teleporters on each floor, and they're placed, again, somewhat randomly because the entire area is procedurally generated. And because they're placed randomly, only one of the 4 will work. See, you'll see it on the map there. There is a spot that shows that there is a teleporter there. The candles or the lights on the side are out, therefore that one is not active, and we will not be able to use it. Don't know how you guys got there, but sure, you do you. Basically, we're going to be running through here, ignoring most of the enemies. I will talk about them in due time as we go through. But yeah, the floors are randomly generated. You can see there's a path there. We'll use Jester's Head again. So I missed that path there. So the ending teleporter might be there, but I'm going to keep going this way. Looks like it might be over there. We'll see if we can get around this way. See, this one is dead-ended right here, and that one is not lit up. So we passed the one we needed to. So basically, there's no real strategy to figure out where you're supposed to go ahead of time. You have to figure it all out as you go. And as I go through here, I supernova everything. The first 30 floors are pretty straightforward. There's no enemies with shields or jump attack or barrier or anything like that. So you can basically just walk into any battle, cast supernova, and move on. The minimum amount of HP that the enemies in here have is about 10,000, up to a maximum of 19,500. You're going to need more than just supernova after a while. Because as you can see right now, supernova is doing a lot of damage, but not quite 19,000. Again, I'm going to keep fighting the enemies around here, mainly to work on swords for Jaster. But I think that's the the basics that I wanted to go over on the first couple of floors here. As soon as you find the next teleporter, ride the lift, and we will keep on moving through 100 floors of this nonsense. As I said, I'm going to speed it up in post, and you can enjoy my suffering as I go through here. And I will try and relay as much information as I can as we do so. So as we talked about already, each floor being procedurally generated, there's not really anything I can do to provide you a walkthrough through the area because yours is going to be different from mine. Each run is going to be different, so there's not really much I can show here. So I decided to run everything on fast forward to make things simpler for everyone involved, myself especially, as trying to talk about anything other than just slaughtering more enemies as we go through here is kind of difficult because there's not really anything to bounce off of, and I bounce off of things better than I come up with things on the fly. Speaking of things on the fly, we have the Demon Bleed Ashana and the Judgment Halo. When we combine these, we get the final form Diablos with an attack power of 400. Best weapon we've seen so far. And so we're just going to ignore that and throw the Dorgan Edge on. I'll be working on it as we go through the area. The treasure chest placement is random. There's no known list of where they can and will be and what's in them. So like I said, I'm not going to bother going through all the information about them. There's no point. We don't need any of it anymore anyway. Each floor, as I said, has 4 elevators. The one you came through will close behind you, preventing you from going back. There are 2 dead ones and 1 correct one for each floor. The way forward will be lit by those things that I mentioned there. And every 10 floors, we're going to fight a boss. Each floor should have a teleporter. And those teleporters are often in the last room. I keep missing them here, but they're usually in the room that leads to the next area. They're often inside behind the door, and I usually miss them. Or they're in the one just at the top, and I forget about them because they disappear from the map too fast. On floors ending in 9, the westernmost teleporter will be the correct one. On floors ending in 8, the westernmost teleporter will not be the correct one. Enemies will change every 30 or so floors, but it's more specific than that. Some are limited to 1 to 10, some are 11 to 30, some will be 1 to 30. And I'll go over the enemies as we get further on here. The enemies don't matter other than working on Jaster's swords. Let's see, anything else before we move on here? Like I said, they have a massive amount of health. I'm basically running through here with Supernova, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, once you reach level 10 here, there's not going to be anything that much different, but you'll see the save point. All right, we'll interrupt whatever I happen to figure out to talk about in post-commentary every 10 floors for a boss fight. There will be a save point and a hallway like this right before it, and then we will open up into a great big hall, so you'll always know where they are. They always happen on the 10th floor. So in we go. You will notice a number of repeats with different names, but yeah, these guys are basically like the rogue pirates that we fought before.
Round 2, fight.
In this case, we are powerful enough now that we basically just spam spells. We hit them with a spell, we wait a little bit of a, half a second or whatever, then we hit them with another spell. And what this allows is it allows for the other character to recharge enough of their stamina to be able to keep hitting, always be hitting, and don't give them enough time to really hit you all that much. And we win. Easy enough. Now, I think I'm actually going to cut this episode a little on the shorter side. We got kind of the basic overview. Next time, we are going to continue on through this area. Remember, do not leave. Use your save, your teleporters to save. Make sure you have a good supply of items in your inventory. If you do not, you will regret it. Like I don't have that many recharge drinks, but I really don't need them. I got plenty of elixirs if I need those. Got plenty of these guys if I need them. I should be more than fine to make it through all 100 floors. But anyway, that's pretty much all for this one. And I'll see you guys next time.